So today we're going to talk about business migration to Australia as per the law is coming in January 2022. And we talk about business stream. There are three streams of the visa that we have. We talk about business stream, investor stream, and there are some categories like, when someone wants to send their family like spouse and kids to study Australia, and eventually after 2 years they apply for permanent residency. And the next one was BUPA health insurance, which Lily has been presenting, and we'll take questions after that. So Lily was the co-presenter, and housekeeping, probably you all know the typing in the chat box. So if you can hear me, can you please type your name and country from where you joining this webinar? So if you can please type in the chat box your just name and the country that you're joining the webinar from. That will just give us some idea about the audience. Kitty is here. I can see some from Pakistan, some from Bangladesh, and I'm just going to. So we have registered migration agent. If you see the registration number 0747228. So when someone wants to get advice for Australian immigration, we always say, okay, you go to the Department of Home Affairs website and you see the person or the company that we're talking with them, whether they registered, because there are a lot of unregistered people who does not have any credibility or knowledge about your case, and we say this is like life-changing decision that you want to bring your family kids to Australia and settle down. So we don't want you to be in a wrong hand, sort of, they don't understand or know, or they even not even registered. So we are not any sub-agent, we are directly, I myself registered with the Department of Home Affairs since 2007, and I'm helping so far almost 15,000 people we advised so far. We do not take cases when there is no merit. If there is no merit, we advise them that this is the shortfall that you need to take over, wait, or upscale yourself and then apply. So our success rate is pretty high. We are specialized on business immigration, investor migration, and once you come to Australia, we provide business management service until you apply for passport and your citizenship to Australia. So we are really specialized on business and investor scheme. We are not processing like normal student visa or skill visa and many other visas. So we are not doing everything, we are specialized. This is what most of our clients like about us, because they say, oh yes, I know that you are only focused on this one, and this is what we need, so they come to us. And we also have families when they come on business visa to assist them to enroll into school, college, relocation support. And sometimes they apply for their parents, and sometimes they get married, so we help them to bring their spouse. We also assist them, we have a real estate wings of our business. We support them to rent home when they come to Australia, help to buying their land and building house or apartments in Australia. So most of our clients come from the reference. So this is the good thing about us, that our client brings our next client. So we spend very less in marketing and advertisement. So this is very good business strategy for us. Once you get a success through us, you talk about us to your family and friends. That's how we do most of the clients. And we are also one more sort of one-stop service. For example, today we have BUPA. Before we had webinar with finance people, banking people, accountants, lawyers. So once you come to Australia, you need a lot of different services. So that's what we provide. We deal with the migration part, but we also have sometimes in-house, sometimes our associated, other professionals that you need, such as accountants, lawyers, and finance, for example, insurance, school admission, relocation support, renting house, buying properties, all these things we provide. And my question will be to the audience, have you visited to Australia before? So if you have visited to Australia, you can type chat yes in the chat box. So I just get some idea that how many of you have been visiting to Australia. So if you have visited to Australia, please type yes in the chat box. And I can see there are some of the audience, yes. Faisal said yes. Someone said not yet. Someone said yes, not yet visited, which is good. So even if you have not visited, we have a program when someone gets the visa. Before coming to Australia, we do like a sort of introduction to Australia. And when you come to Australia, we go through like a day with you to explain everything that you required in Australia. So that's not worry. I'm going to talk about first like business migration. As I said, there are few streams at the moment. From January 2022, there will be 4 streams of business migration. One is called business innovation, which means that you have to be a business owner in your country first instance, and you have to have a successful business career. So once you have a business history, like business experience, then you can apply for your full family to come and settle down in Australia. And once you get full PR, then you meet the requirement of the passport or become citizen of Australia. So I often get questions from the people. They say why I should migrate to Australia, because someone who is doing very good in business in their own country, they are the only people eligible to apply. So if someone is already doing very good in their country, why they have to migrate to Australia? If you want to share why you are considering to migrate to Australia, in the chat box, that will be very helpful. So if you can type like what are the reasons, but sometimes we often found that most of the people migrating to Australia on business visa, they are very well established, they have well set up, they have all the support services in their country. And they're moving to Australia for basically for their kids' education. So they want to get their kids study in Australia. Anyway, they're sending kids to the university. So instead of sending kids, they want to send the whole family and kids settle down here. And parents, like no one, father normally comes flying in and out. And they also think for their future generation, future secure life, healthcare system, one of the best healthcare systems in Australia. I'll talk about it. And they also want to do business expansion. However, business migration is basically for business expansion. But the other lifestyle thing comes obviously as a priority. Why Australia is number one? I know I don't want to read out all of this. You all already know about Australia, that it is one of the most global cities in the world. Best healthcare system, safe society, educated people, and freedom of life, political stability, affordability of the house, and a lot of support from the governments when you want to do business in Australia. And the best thing about business migration, it gives you the freedom that you can bring the whole family. Like sometimes even if you have an aged dependent, if you have dependent on you, you may include them on your visa application. And if the most important another reason or benefit coming to Australia is once you come to Australia, then you can do a role swap between you and your spouse. So if, for example, the husband is doing the main major business activity in overseas, then the family comes here and then the wife take over. So husband becomes free and they can continue their overseas business while spouse or wife, partner continues staying in Australia with the kids and looking after growing the kids, educating them. So this is another freedom that many countries does not allow you to do a role swap between husband and wife or partner. So this very important thing. And the second thing is like you can bring your skilled staff from overseas to here in Australia to expand your business. So that's another benefit. And you can also get a loan from Australian bank once you run your business in Australia. And like many other countries, there are leasehold properties, but in Australia, you buy something which is a freehold property that you can purchase. And now my question to all of you, do you want to see what options you have for migrating to Australia? What are the options that you have to migrating to Australia? Please type yes or obviously yes in the chat box. You can see yes coming on. There are many yes coming on. So as I explained, there are 4 streams: A, B, C, E, not D. A, B, C, and E. And there is another one called school visa with mother. Apply here after 2 years. So on 188A visa, this visa is for 5 years. So once it's been granted, it gives you stay unlimited travel for 5 years. And to apply for this visa, you have to have 30% share minimum into your current business. So if you have a business in your country, if you have 30% share holding into the business, then you can apply. This is like ownership requirements. And you will have to have you and your spouse together. You must have net asset of 1.25 million in your country or anywhere else altogether. In your business, you have to show that you have a minimum turnover of 750,000 Australian dollars per year for any 2 years out of recent 4 years. So in your current business, if you have, let's say, last 4 years, if you see how much turnover or sales or revenue you had, if you see any 2 years, you had 750,000 Australian dollars. If you and your spouse together, not kids, if you and your spouse together have 1.25 million net asset, including your personal and business asset. For example, if you have apartment, land, plant, business, share, goals, anything, bank savings, term deposit, they're all together combining 1.25 million asset you had for last 2 years. You had 750,000 Australian dollar turnover for revenue into your business per year, like this 2 years in recent 4 years time. And if you together, all together, if you get 65 points, then you are eligible to apply for 188A visa. Once you come to Australia on 188A visa, you have few things to do. Number one, you have a freedom of role swap. As I explained before, like, you have some freedom. Once you come here, you can be free of yourself. You can put your spouse on the driving seat and you can be a passenger. So that's very important, and flexibility in terms of you and your spouse, you or your spouse. So for example, a family comes, spouse living with the kids, they need to stay at least 2 years in Australia and run a business for 2 years. So spouse can run a business for 2 years. And we definitely have a business management service team here to assist you, to help you to run the business. Guidance, I'll explain in my next few slides. And you require to invest into the business minimum $400,000. This is the new law. Before it was 200,000, so now it's to 400 into the business. And from the business, in the second year, you need to make revenue of 300,000, which is most of my clients, I have been seeing last year, for example, more than 80 clients, and they have almost 800,000-900,000 Australian dollar turnover. So 300 is too easy for them. It's maybe 3 months or 4 months turnover. So there's the requirement, minimum requirement, and once you fulfill these two, you have to pick up one of the last one. So invest 400,000 into business, turnover 300,000, and then you pick one of these two. You invest another 200,000 Australian dollar, or you rehire two full-time Australian eligible employees, permanent resident or citizen. So these two is like optional. One of them you have to do, either you invest another 200,000 Australian dollar, or you hire two full-time staff in your second year. So that's not for the 2 years, that's in the second year. But suddenly you don't hire someone and suddenly you don't fire, because it needs to be like normal, natural, like if your business requires, then you hire. If your business does not require, like for example, if you're running a cafe or restaurant, you need more staff, like 5-6 staff. If you're running an online or wholesale supply, maybe you need 1 staff. It depends on your business. So intentionally, you do not do anything. You do as per the business requirements. So we assist you in the beginning when you make your plan for the 188 to 888A, that is like permanent residency of 188 visa once you come to Australia. So once you come, we go through every detail and we see like whether you want to invest total 600 or you want to invest 400 plus 2 full-time or equivalent staff, permanent resident or citizen of Australia. And then it comes the second option, which is called investor stream, which is we know as 188B. That is also for 5 years visa, 5 years continuous travel, no restriction. But here the investment is a little bit higher, but there is no business requirement. So investment, you have to invest 1.5 million in Australian government bond for 4 years, additional $500,000 into eligible investment, must have 1 year business to apply for this one. You have to have either 1 year of experience running a business with minimum 10% share, which the previous visa was requirement in need of like 30%. Now here is 10%. Or you have to have show that you have management experience of your investments. How do you do investment management? And you have to have net asset of 2.25 million, and you have to score 65 points in total. Once you come to Australia, it becomes very easy. You maintain your investment for 4 years. That's all you need. You maintain your investment for 4 years. You or your spouse stay 2 years out of 4 years. That's all you need to do. Just stay requirement and maintain the fund. The investment that you have made, you just maintain it. you do not have to have running business. It's up to you. You can, but it's not a mandatory requirement. 188C, which is a significant investor stream. This visa is also for 5 years. You have to invest minimum 5 million Australian dollar, which is 50 lakhs. 5 million Australian dollar in complying investment. So there are sectors like where you can do investment, and this is suitable for someone who does not or cannot stay here in Australia for a longer time. And on this visa it says, okay, main applicant must stay in Australia minimum 6 weeks per year. So 6 weeks per year means 1.5 months. You can come there 2 times a year, 3 weeks, that's all good. Or if you cannot fulfill this one, 6 weeks in 1 whole year per year, then your spouse needs to meet the requirement of stay, which is 180 days in Australia. So I got few clients, not many clients on this visa. Most of the time 6 weeks, primary applicant they stay. But at the same time, their spouse stays, almost all the year, with the kids, because kids study here. So they meet all these requirements easily. And when you come to Australia, as I said, this is actually fourth one. This is the fourth one, entrepreneur stream, 188E, which is for young entrepreneurs to take some initiative with great business plan to come to Australia and implement their business ideas. So this is also for 5 years visa. This is, for example, someone overseas just been graduated, 2-3 years experience of job or business, or they have a great idea, they want to implement it as a business model in Australia. So this visa is for them to encourage young people. To do this visa, you must have IELTS 6 in each time, which is like competent level of English, because you require good English communication in this visa to implement your business and ideas. And those who are young university graduate, they recently graduating, so we found that they have 6, 7, easy, sometimes 8. It's not an issue. They have to have fun from either themselves or their parents, or bank finance, like 200,000 Australian dollar to implement the business plan that they want to do in Australia. We found many students who come to Australia and they want to apply for this stream, because by this time living in Australia, they have some great ideas and they want to try in this visa. So this is a great visa for young entrepreneurs. And yes, now I got a question for audience. Which category you think is suitable for mostly? Which category is suitable for you? 188A, which is a business. 188B, which is like investor. 188C is like a significant investor. 188E, which is an entrepreneur, like young people with business ideas. Let's see some of the answer. 188E, 188A, we've got 188A, and mostly 188E. We've got 188C as well. We've got 188E. So I believe we'll see you very soon. Yeah, definitely we'll make an appointment. We'll discuss one-on-one. And obviously I'll answer a few of your questions.